Hello and welcome. My name is Naseem, and in last video we have tried to understand AI Builder. What is AI Builder and how AI Builder can be useful in our automation journey. In this video, we will try to train a document processor machine learning model under AI Builder. So as you can see on my screen, I am under document, and under document we can create different type of models. We can train them and we can use them, and in this video we will try to train a document processing model. It would be a custom model, and when we are saying custom, it simply means is that we will try to use this model and we will try to train this model on our own data set. So before I go ahead, let me explain you what my data set looks like and how we can use this data set in order to train this model. So I have one folder which is invoice data, and under invoice data we have two vendors, invoices under these folders. So vendor one and vendor two, right? If I open vendor one, again you have two different folder which is test invoices and train invoices. I have couple of invoices under them. So if you see under test invoices there are number of invoices, and under train invoices there are different number of invoices. For our learning purpose, I have divided all of the invoices which vendor one submitted into two categories, which is test and the train. Train invoices I will use to train my model, and test invoices will be the one which we will use in order to analyze how these model is performing, right? And same is the case with vendor 2 as well. We have two different folder. One is invoices, one is test invoices, and second one is train invoices. In order to train our model, we will use these five invoices, right? We are good to go. So this is what my data set is. I have intentionally used only two vendors data set, and these are nothing but the PDF invoices. All right, this is what it is. Go back to the AI builder section, click on this one. So under AI builder section we have these different models, but we need to click on custom model, right? So click on it and it will ask us, it will just throw us some of the detail. Just read them because these are useless. So go ahead, click on get started. Once it is, once we click on get started, we will be landing onto this page because we are dealing with the scan document. So if I open one of my invoice, it is nothing but a scan document, right? And when it is a scan document, it actually falls into unstructured data category, right? So if I click, we have structured documents, we have unstructured documents. Because these are scanned PDF invoices, so select unstructured document. Again, it will just throw some more details, some more information. No worries, click on next, go ahead, and in here we need to provide some of the information for our model, right? So it is actually asking us what information we want to extract from our data. So in here, it is actually asking us the detail of the entities which we want to extract from our invoice. So if I open this invoice, they are, what is the name of the vendor? It is the invoice number. It is the invoice date, right? It is the GSTN number of the vendor, and whole a lot of information is there, right? This is the final and the total amount. So for the demo purpose, for the learning purpose only, we will just try to use only the vendor name, invoice date, sorry, invoice number, and then invoice date, the GSTN number of the vendor, and the final amount of the invoice, right? So these would be the five different entities we will try to extract from our information. Go back to the information. The very first information which we want to create is the invoice number. So this would be the field. So we can fetch out a specific field from the invoice. There would be if there is some sort of checkbox, whether the checkbox is selected or not, if you want to fetch out that information, that is also possible. If there is a table into our data set in our invoice, then we can create a table type of entity as well. We are not going into these two categories for the purpose of the learning. Let's stick with the field type of entity. So select field. Next, what is the name of the field? So it would be invoice number. Click on done. So one entity has been created. Again, again the field. This time it would be invoice date, done. Again field, vendor name, again field, vendor GST number, and the last is the total amount. These are the five entities we would like to fetch out from each of the invoices. And these would be the entities over which we want to train our model, right? Click on next. It will go to the next section. And in here, it is actually talking about some collections of the documents. So here is the catch. And what is the catch? So the assumption is that in the back end, if we have X different template of the invoices, we need to create a collection for each template of the invoice. Under here, we have two different vendors, and vendor one is actually using a specific template of the invoice. So you can see all of the invoice are in the same template. Next invoice, again the same template. So this is actually this vendor one is actually using a specific template, right? And because vendor one is using a set of template, I mean only one template, we need to create one specific collection for vendor one, and same is applies for vendor two. If I open any invoice of vendor two, this vendor is actually using a different type of template of the invoice, so we need to create a specific different collection for this specific vendor. So go back, because we have two different vendors, we need to create two different collections. So one collection, let's name it vendor one, and after naming it, we need to add some train document because we need to train it. So the best practice is to use at least five different documents in order to train a model, or in order to train a specific collection. So we are under vendor one and we are using, so if I go vendor one, we have test invoices, we have train invoices. So these are the train invoices and I'm just selecting all of them, right? So we have six different invoices and we will try to train six different invoices under collection one. Upload six documents. It is being uploaded. Once it is uploaded, click on done. We need to create one more collection for vendor two. Add document in the same way as we have added in vendor one. Vendor two, train invoices. Select all of them, open and upload. Once it is uploaded, click on done. Now we have created two different collections, vendor one, vendor two. We have added 5 and 6 invoices. It is the time to train them. So click on next, select vendor one, and in here it will ask us that what is the position of this specific field. So if we talk about invoice number, so let me select invoice number. You can see here, this is the invoice number. Select it and tag it. Invoice number is done. Now invoice date, this is the invoice date. Select it and tag it. In vendor name, again the same step, because this whole is the vendor name. Select it and tag it. Vendor GSTN, same way. Select it and tag it. Total amount, go down. This is the total amount. Select it. This is how we have actually tagged our invoice data to the model. We need to perform the same steps for all of the invoices in this collection. The same, and in the same way we have to perform the steps for vendor 2 collections document as well. So let's go ahead and tag each entity in each of the invoice in the collection 2, right? So because you can see the template is different. So for invoice number, let's see where is the invoice number. So here is the invoice number. Select it all. Invoice number. What is the invoice date? Again, this is the invoice date. Do it. What is the GSTN number of this vendor? So this is the GSTN number. What is the name of the vendor? So we will see name of the vendor somewhere. So it is here, one-to-one help desk, vendor name, and what is the total amount? So this is the total amount. Select it. This is how we have tagged all of the entities in invoice in one of the invoice. Perform this step for all other invoices as well. Save and close. Go back, and now it is the time to click on next button. So we have already tagged all of the entries which we want to train this model, and the next step is to hit next button. Once you are landed onto this screen, you will see all of the information of this model. So what is the owner, who is the owner of this model, model type, document type, what is the collections, and all of this information, right? So we have currently 11 different documents over which we have trained this model, right? Select and hit on the train button. Once this training of this model is completed, go and watch the next video. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.